Unit 2, Theory of Multiplier. Introduction. The relationship between increase in investment and increase in consumption is explained through this concept of investment multiplier. So the concept of investment multiplier is very significant. That means it is very important in the modern macroeconomics, as this concept is helpful in the process of income generation. So the concept of employment multiplier was developed by R. F. Khan in the year 1931. R. F. Khan explained the effect of an increase in investment on employment. Later, Keynes refined employment multiplier in terms of investment multiplier, which shows the effect of an increase in investment on. Therefore, Keynes multiplier is known as income multiplier. Let's understand the meaning of income multiplier. So, multiplier is denoted by small letter k, lowercase k. It is defined as the ratio of a resulting increase in income, that is capital Y, to a given increase in investment, that is capital I. So in simple words, the meaning of income multiplier is the ratio of final change in income to the initial change in investment. So we denote it as small letter k is equal to delta y to delta I, that is change in income to a change in investment. For example, if investment increases by rupees 1 crore and the aggregate income rises by rupees 4 crore, then the multiplier is said to be 4. Further students, we already know multiplier is the ratio of final change in income to the initial change in investment, that is delta y to delta I. This we already know. Further, let's understand. Now the multiplier is determined by MPC, that is marginal propensity to consume. So the relationship between MPC and investment multiplier is shown by the formula K, that is multiplier, is equal to 1 upon 1 minus MPC. Always remember students, multiplier is always inversely related to MPS. In other words, multiplier is the reciprocal of MPS, which is always equal to 1 minus MPC. Therefore, we get the formula K, that is multiply, is equal to 1 upon MPS. MPS is marginal propensity to save. Now let's understand the derivation of multiplier. Now since we already know income is the total of consumption expenditure plus investment expenditure. So if we want to know what is investment expenditure, we will only have to deduct consumption from income. In the next step, it is the same equation, only that we are adding here delta, that is change. So change in investment is equal to change in income minus change in consumption. After this, since we already know the formula of multiplier, that is K is equal to change in income to change in investment. This we already know. So after this, the next step will be, now here the numerator we will keep as it is, that is delta y, but in the denominator, as we know, delta I is what? Change in income minus change in consumption. This we will substitute in place of delta I. So we get the equation delta y upon delta y minus delta c, that is change in income upon change in income minus change in consumption. Now after this, the next step will be to add common denominator, that is delta y, to each of these three. So in the numerator we will add delta y divided by delta y, and in the denominator again we will add both delta y divided by delta y and delta c divided by delta y. Now as we know here, delta y is common, so the numerator will be 1. Again same logic applies here, delta y is common, so it will be 1 here. 1 minus. Now look at this part here. If you remember, when we were doing the topic consumption function, there was one topic in that is properties of consumption function. There were two properties, APC and MPC. MPC equation or the formula of MPC was delta C upon delta Y. So that equation we are applying here. So delta C divided by delta Y is nothing but MPC. So therefore we get this step 1 upon 1 minus MPC. As we already know further that the value of multiplier is the reciprocal of MPS. So which is equal to 1 minus MPC. So that is why 1 minus MPC, we substitute that by MPS. So thus the final formula that we get is K is equal to, that is multiplier is equal to 1 upon MPS. The size of multiplier is determined by MPC. So if MPC is high, multiplier is high, and when MPC is low, multiplier is low. Since MPC, the value of MPC is always greater than 0 but less than 1. So the multiplier, that is K, is always greater than 1 but less than infinity. This diagram shows multiplier effect of an increase in investment on the income. Let's understand this diagram in detail. In the diagram, the x-axis shows income level and the y-axis shows consumption level as well as investment level. So in the diagram we have a 45-degree line. This 45-degree line is called as the income line. It is also called as OY. So this OY denotes income, which is consumption plus saving. Apart from this, we have a CC curve here. The CC curve is the consumption curve. Apart from this, further, when investment is superimposed on consumption curve, that means when investment is added to consumption, we get another curve here which is above the original consumption curve. This curve is called as C plus I curve, that is consumption plus investment curve. Now this C plus I curve intersects the 45-degree line at point E1. So point E1 is the equilibrium point, and the equilibrium level of income is OY1. Further in this diagram, so whenever the investment increases, this C plus I curve will shift upwards. So it will shift from C plus I curve to C plus I1 curve. So now the difference between the two curves, see, can you see this gap here? The difference between the two curves is shown by the new investment. This new investment is nothing but delta I. Delta I means what? Change in investment. Okay, I repeat once again. Whenever the investment level increases, C plus I curve will shift upwards from C plus I to C plus I1 curve. Now the difference between both the curves is shown by the level of new investment. This level of new investment is denoted in the diagram as delta I. Now this new curve, that is C plus I1 curve, intersects the 45-degree line at point E2. So point E2 is the new equilibrium point, and as per this new equilibrium point, the new equilibrium level of income is OY2. So from the diagram, we very well know that this level OY2 equilibrium level of income is more than the earlier equilibrium level that was OY1. So clearly we can see that OY2 is more than OY1. How do we know this? We know this by this gap, that is Y1, Y2. So from the diagram, we can clearly see that the increase in income, that is Y1, Y2, this gap is much greater than the gap of increase in investment, that is delta I. We can clearly see, students, that this gap of increase in income Y1, Y2 is more than this gap of increase in investment denoted by delta I. So this shows that a small change in investment, see, there was a small change in investment brought about a very large change in the income level. This shows the multiplier effect. The next subtopic is leakages in the multiplier process. The main leakages that occur in the process of income generation and that reduces the size of multiplier are: the very first one is savings. Saving is considered to be the most important leakage of the multiplier because a whole part of income is not consumed. Some part of income is also saved. Therefore, higher the MPS in the economy, that is higher the value of marginal propensity to save in the economy, the smaller will be the size of multiplier. Similarly, lower the MPS, larger will be the size of multiplier. The second point is debt repayment. When a part of increased income is used by people to pay back the loans that they had taken, the debts that they had taken, instead of further spending that income on consumption, then the value of multiplier will be reduced. Next factor is imports. If the country engages in excess of imports over exports, then the money is going out of our economy. So we say that there is outflow of money from domestic country to foreign countries. So in this case, what happens? There is a fall in income in the domestic country. So when there is fall in income in the domestic country, this reduces the value of multiplier. This is because income that is spent on imports will not generate any income or any output in the domestic country. It will generate income to the other countries for the goods that a domestic country has imported. Thus, the value of multiplier will fall. Another important leakage in the multiplier process is increase in prices. As the price level rises, people's consumption falls, even though their income increases. Because of this, the value of multiplier will be low. The next leakage is liquidity preference. So if people have a habit of holding and higher, that is idle cash, and do not use it for consumption, then it becomes a leakage in the multiplier process. This restricts the value of multiplier and thus the value of multiplier falls. The last factor in the leakage in multiplier process is taxes. Now, if the government increases the tax rate, then the disposable income of the people, that is income in the hands of people, will fall. That is because the increased income is gone in paying the taxes. So if the people's income, that is money in their hands, falls, this will reduce their consumption expenditure and hence the multiplier value will also fall. Thus, if the government imposes higher tax, it will result in fall in the disposable income. Thus, falling the consumption or saving or spending levels, thus further leading to a lower value of multiplier. Importance of multiplier. The concept of multiplier is important, not just theoretically but also practically. Let us now understand few important points of this concept of multiplier. The very first important point is importance in investment. So this topic of multiplier theory gives investment a very important value. So according to this theory of multiplier, investment is a very important factor. So if the level of income and employment in the economy increases, then it depends on the multiplier. And this in turn, that is the multiplier in turn depends upon the level of investment. That is the reason investment plays a very important role. The second factor is analysis of trade cycle. Now it becomes easy to analyze trade cycle on the basis of the multiplier theory. So multiplier helps to understand the increase in income that takes place because of increase in investment. So multiplier theory gives lot of importance, and it has great importance to the government while they are framing or they are formulating their governmental policies, which brings about the rightful effects, which shows the correct effects in the economy so that the economy stabilizes. The next factor is public investment. Public investment is of great importance, especially in the economy during the situation of depression and unemployment. This is because public investment does not focus on profit maximization. So through multiplier theory, the importance of public investment is highlighted, which results in increase in the level of employment. The next factor is fiscal policy. Multiplier theory has a great importance in the field of fiscal policy, that is taxation policy. This is because it helps the government to adopt a correct and appropriate fiscal policy measures so as to get the economy out of depression as well as unemployment. Now let's understand the criticism of multiplier. It is also called as limitations of multiplier. So the Keynesian theory of multiplier has certain limitations. Let's understand these limitations. The very first one is MPC is not constant. Now Keynes' concept of multiplier effect is based on the assumption that MPC is constant, so that MPS, that is marginal propensity to save, will necessarily be constant. But in a dynamic economy, that is in the real world, MPC is never constant. In fact, in the real world, as income increases, the MPS is likely to rise, and therefore the value of multiplier tends to fall. Therefore, in real world, there is nothing stable about the value of multiplier effect as it is assumed by Keynes. The next criticism is timeless phenomenon. Now, according to Keynes, multiplier, the concept of multiplier is a timeless phenomenon. But however, in reality, this does not take place. That is, in real world, there is a time lag, or there is time interval between income and consumption, as well as between consumption and its reappearance in the form of income. Therefore, modern economists have said that multiplier effect always takes time to show its full impact on the economy. The third limitation or criticism of multiplier is static concept. The theory of multiplier is a static phenomenon. Static phenomenon or static concept means that it does not change, it remains the same throughout. Therefore, this concept is said to be unsuitable to the changing processes of the dynamic world. The next criticism is that consumption is not a function of income alone. So the theory of multiplier is based on the assumption that consumption is a function of income alone. That is, consumption is only a function of income. But in reality, it is not like that. Consumption is not only the function of income, but it also depends on many other factors. The last limitation or criticism of multiplier is relationship between consumption and income is non-linear. According to Keynes, the relationship between consumption and income is linear, but there have been studies undertaken and the research shows that the relationship between income and consumption is too complicated and it is not linear. It is non-linear. So towards the end, I would like to say that in spite of all these points of limitation and criticism of multiplier, this does not mean that this concept of multiplier theory does not have any use. No, it is wrong. This concept of multiplier theory does have its practical application, especially during the times of depressions. So it was on the basis of this concept of multiplier effect that Keynes has advised a policy of public investment so as to overcome depression in the economy. The next subtopic is paradox of thrift. The paradox of thrift was popularized, that was, this concept was given by J.M. Keynes. It shows an analysis of Keynesian multiplier model. The meaning of paradox of thrift. The multiplier theory of Keynes help us in explaining that if all people in a society have decided to save more, then the total savings will remain the same. So if all are saving, it does not mean that the saving will increase, but rather, according to Keynes, according to this concept of paradox of thrift, it states that if all people are saving more, the savings level will remain the same. In fact, the income will decline. Let us see more about this. There are certain important points in this concept of paradox of thrift. Let's understand certain important points. The very first one is the concept paradox of thrift shows that if all people in the economy are saving more than what is required, then this will result in fall in the output level. And if the output falls, that means if there is fall in the production levels, then the people, those who are working for factories or industries, will not be required, and hence it will result in unemployment levels. Second important point is that when people increase their personal savings, this will result in fall in consumption. So they will not spend their money. If they do not spend their money, then it will result in further fall in the aggregate demand. If the demand falls, then economic growth also falls, thus turning a bad economy into a worse one. Third important point is Keynes has said that this concept of paradox of thrift is pushing the economy into a prolonged recession if the savings increases more. Therefore, Keynes, with his multiplier theory, tries to solve this concept or this problem of paradox of thrift. This is the diagram of paradox of thrift. Let's understand this diagram. Let's understand this diagram. On x-axis, we have plotted income level, while on y-axis, we have saving level and level of investment. In the diagram, SS curve denotes saving curve. So we are having two saving curves. One is SS and second is S1, S1. Both the curves are saving curve. Now initially SS curve intersects the II curve. II curve is the investment curve. The horizontal II curve is the investment curve. So the original saving curve, that is SS, intersects the investment curve, that is II, at point E. At this point E, the point E is called as the equilibrium point. At this equilibrium point E, the level of equilibrium income level is Y, that is OY. So OY is the equilibrium income level at equilibrium point E. After this, now people are actually more concerned with the near future recession that is coming up in their economy. So they are concerned that what if in the near future their income declines. So what they will do today is they will start saving more. Because they have started saving more, today their consumption level starts falling. Now that people have started saving more, the original saving curve shifts upwards because people have started to save more. So thus the original SS curve shifts upwards. So it shifts upwards and to the left. So it shifts from SS to S1, S1. So this results in increase in saving. This increase in saving can be seen by AE. So this AE shows the amount of increased saving. Apart from this, the new saving curve, that is S1, S1, intersects the investment curve II at point E1. So point E1 is the new point of equilibrium. Now because saving curve has shifted upwards to the left, because people have started saving more, so saving curve has shifted upwards to the left from SS to S1, S1. So the initial increase in saving was AY, but this S1, S1 intersects the investment curve II at point E1. So if you observe now at point E1, the actual saving level has reduced. Now the saving level is E1. The initial saving level was AY. So once the curve had shifted upwards to the left, the initial increase in saving was AY, but we will not consider that savings because on S1, S1 curve, the intersection point is E1. So this shows the actual saving level, which shows that the saving has actually reduced from AY to E1Y1. So we can thus conclude that at this new equilibrium point E1, the investment level remains the same, that is II. But two more things have reduced. One is that the savings have reduced from AY to E1Y1, and the income level has also reduced, that is from OY to OY1. This actually shows a paradoxical feature of an economy. So paradoxical situation means a contradictory situation, but rather it is true regarding the economy.